Okay, there it is. Alrighty then. Haven't seen the live icon in a while. I was trying to stream a little bit earlier, and seems like Facebook wasn't on there. And I think I have all the little settings all together now. I'm streaming from Restream, and we've got Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook going at the same time. Big whoop. Alright, just checking the connections on all the channels here. Yep, looks like we're live on YouTube. And to be honest with you, I really don't care too much about Twitch. I don't go on Twitch as often anymore, and I could almost not really understand how to get good at it. I guess I need to play a video game and also be on there constantly. Twitch. How do you spell Twitch? Jesus. So as you can see, I have these all taped up, ready to go. I'm going to start in just a moment. Logging into Twitch over here. How come we don't have where's my Twitch username? How is it that I don't know that? Let's just try. Enter the code token. Jesus Christ. Okay, what kind of token is this? What is this? Okay, security code. Entering the token. Okay, that's logged in, and I believe that I am currently live streaming art since I'm online. My channel. Alright, there we go. Alright. There's a little bit more light. And I have to apologize if the camera starts moving real wobbling. It's because I have it attached to the area that I'm working. And it's a moving table. So this allows me to be able to kind of see the monitors. Let me go get the iPad so I can see, and if anybody wants to chat. I'll try to do this for a little bit. It's not going to take me that long. But being that I'm all set up, I'm going to try to get back into streaming a little bit when I have the opportunity to. It's actually pretty moderate day outside, and it's very agreeable in my shop. It's not at all cold, so pretty comfortable right now. All right, good morning YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch people out there. So I just wanted to kind of show off this project. I believe I recorded myself taping these up, which I haven't looked at or decided to edit yet, since I haven't gotten around to it. Don't know if I will. I'll try to maybe put something together where I'll speed that up and then post that. So here we are, the final taping, the final product of taping up these sneakers here. Took at least 3.5 hours, I think it was, about 3 hours more to tape up to get to this point. And it's pretty much downhill from here, because all I have to kind of do is spray the color on here. The color has been mixed. We're doing a baby blue. I'm going to be using my Iwata HP. Okay, it's an HPC. Oh, kind of help if I turn the compressor on. So let's do that. So I will go over what I have done to prepare these sneakers. Air Force 1's. Basically, I have an assortment of masking tapes that I used for this project. And here is my test surface. I wanted to find something that was leather and similar to what I would be producing, and as you can see, scratching it, limited marks on it. Once I put a protectant, another layer that's clear, and it's a protectant, you won't get any rubbing or any kind of imperfections in the paint. So, tested it out last night, mixed up the paint, we're ready to go. Alright, here's a brief explanation of some of the tapes that I used here. Put this to the side. Okay, we have our basic masking tape, 2-inch masking tape, and I used that primarily, as you can see, all over the sneaker. I say, you know, where I started, the first step, I believe I started with the tongue. And what I did was, from the advice of another video, I tried using this gaffer's tape. And it's almost time to get another quick disconnect because it's starting to fail. The gasket is letting air out. So as I was saying, the gaffer's tape, this is 2-inch gaffer's tape, and it doesn't leave much residue. It's very good when I do events, and the extension cord has to be placed and propped in a manner so that nobody is going to trip over it. You use this black gaffer's tape and it will leave minimum residue on the cord itself or on the ground or wherever, and it sticks really, it adheres pretty well. So from the advice of the video, I basically used it on the fabric-y inside portions. I think it's okay. I know that when I go to spray, I'm going to end up having to maybe use a freehand stencil or freehand shield to kind of block certain areas. And I would say the best thing to use is maybe a business card, because you can hold it and angle it, and it's, you know, let me see if I can find one. So to deflect the paint in areas that you don't want it to get into, where this black is separating from the fabric and the leather, I would probably put my card in here and make sure that I'm really not getting, you know, in the recess here, we're not getting any paint onto that fabric. So with the airbrush, one of the best qualities is that I can create a nice surface without any brush lines, any brush marks, and gradually build up the paint as to make sure that it's not running and it's not over, you know, it's not going to be overly saturated. Alright, so like I said, I use primarily a lot of this 2-inch masking tape, and you'll see a little bit of the blue painter's tape in here. This is just 1 inch, so it was easier to kind of put it inside to cover these holes. You want to make sure that the holes in the sneaker here are not allowing any paint to come through, because the paint will find a way to get on surfaces wherever there seems to be any holes. And I just noticed I saw some light coming through, so that means that it's not fully taped on this side. Could be just the light from the tape, but transparency of the tape, but better safe than sorry. Alright, so as I mentioned, I covered all of this tongue because I didn't want any overspray, you know, just finding its way into the shoe. Like I said, better safe than sorry. A lot of this is tucked down below, and it's wrapped completely. There shouldn't be any way that paint is getting onto this tongue. So I cleaned the surface with where is it? I used two different things because I do have the Angelus leather prepare and deglazer, but you can also use acetone. used acetone on that. I use primarily acetone because I have a lot more of it. And for example, if I had to, you know, possibly go traveling and do this, I would bring this bottle as opposed to the large bottle of acetone and just refill that up with acetone, possibly. Alright, so you can use either one of those: Angelus leather preparer and deglazer, also acetone, and then my last step was this plastic and leather prep. And this is primarily another cleaner, another, you know, but I believe it might, see, it removes mold release agents, fingerprints, grease, wax, other contaminants, and leaves leather and substrate clean for coating without softening or distorting. Leaves no residue. So I used a good amount of this as well. I sprayed that on a rag and wiped down all of the shoes. So I may do it again because I have been touching them, and any kind of oils from the fingerprints is going to contaminate the shoe a little bit. May contaminate the stickiness, and right now I'm going to sanitize my hands. Alright. So as I said here, the paints that I have used for this project here, probably could have went with something as straight as something like this Caribbean blue, and it's a Createx paint. This would have worked. But basically what I did is I mixed the Angelus light blue with some of my ETAC white, because as I mentioned, I have the Angelus white, but this is a small bottle. I'm going to use that in certain instances when I need to be able to travel with the whole set or whatever. I find that what I'm trying to do here is basically use the, I guess, the sturdiness of the Angelus and the fluidity, you know, the fluidness of this ETAC, and mix them together and get my baby blue, and it's has a consistency that will run through the airbrush, but it will also stand up, you know, to the movement and the scuffing and all kinds of other stuff by using the Angelus. The Angelus, I believe, is a superior brand when it comes to painting sneakers. I have experience with it. I've used it a couple of times, but for the most part, I will usually use either the Createx or the ETAC paints to do any kind of sneaker projects. So today here, like I said, we're just doing a solid coat, and it's nothing you know, crazy. I'm just gonna do something nice and straightforward. And the like I said, the change is basically just mixing these two paints together, and then I will probably use, I have a clear. Is this the clear? No, this is too soft. I do have, I thought I did have, maybe I don't have the Angelus clear, but I do have the top coat by Createx, and I'm probably going to use a matte clear coat. I don't know how shiny she wants this. That's one thing that I do have to ask the client, if they want this shiny or do they want a matte finish. So I have either or. So this is the product that I would use, matte clear, or the where's the other bottle? opaque base. Here it is. This would be the gloss clear coat. Okay, these are Createx. They're wicked color products, and I have to say that these are really good products, and you know, they're not Createx is not supporting me, but I wouldn't mind if they did. Alright, so like I said, here these were all the tapes. Oh, the last tape was this blue fine line. As you can see, I used that around the border of the rubber sole, because the line right here, I wanted it to be stretched on tight, and if I used a regular piece of tape, I'm not certain what the results would be. Hopefully this is going to work. I'm noticing one little issue here, because this piece is too flat. This is possibly I don't want to have to go back, and add later on. So I'm going to end up having to do one more inspection here, because if the tape is too tight, which it may have, moved a little bit. It's on the outside, if I believe, yeah. I don't want to peel the tape off and then there's a white spot. Okay, so the easiest thing is just to peel that right off, because, yep, I'm very certain that would have been a part that I would have had to retape and do that over again. So the one thing about these sneaker jobs is that you have to be very meticulous, because it's not like you get one shot to do the, you kind of do, to get the paint right, you do have one shot. You want to do it in one shot. But everything has to be taped off really well, and you have to be certain that the end results you're going to be happy with, and you don't have to go back and tape over stuff. When paint dries and you need to go back over it, sometimes even with the same paint you will not get a one-on-one color blend. It may be obvious where the mistake was, and then you have to kind of spray the whole area over again, so that way you're not making it very obvious that that one part is off. Okay, so what I did here with this tape, I'm hoping that it is right on the facet of that surface, and that we're not going in too much onto the leather. Yeah, I have to be very careful with this, because I do not want to have to go back in on there. Okay, so to my inspection, most everything is pretty good. I'm going to start spraying, and we're just going to carefully observe each little spot. I need some little small dowel type shapes to kind of burnish the tape down into the recesses really well. That's what I'll do right now, is just go over these lines, these areas, and push down the tape in the area, you know, into the recess of the leather. Make sure that it's fully down. Because as I mentioned, any lifting of the tape will cause the paint to get underneath it, and then you got to clean it up. So I don't believe that I will, you know, these will be perfect, but I did spend a large amount of time taping this and inspecting it. I just noticed some of this is overlapping here. Where did I just see that? I just saw. Okay, that might have been it. I don't remember. Okay, that looks about good. Okay. I'm sure I've been doing this for about half an hour or so, or I don't know how long I've been streaming. About a half. But I think we're ready to spray. Alright, so we're going to do this very lightly. Okay, so as I said, here's the paint. It's all mixed up. And next time I'm going to work on the camera being in a better, more stationary kind of mount, because get too much vibration from the table. I have to remember that. So, hello to anybody out there. Hopefully the stream looks okay. You sounds okay. Most of the time I just kind of press record or press stream and hope for the best. All right, let's knock these out. Actually, I'm gonna do one more pass with the cleaner, since I've been touching the sneakers. So one dilemma that I have is this is, I guess, a junior size sneaker, and the leather patterns are not the same as what they showed me, to whereas this would be a large section that's separate from the checks, and that part would be painted blue, because this wouldn't be here, this little strip wouldn't be here, it would just be straight across, and then I could have put the kid's name on it. So I have to somehow write Maddie G on one side, and I think number 14 on the other side, and I have to do it vertically. So that's going to be a little issue later on, but we'll tackle that when I get there. Just want to be happy with everything that I'm looking at before I start spraying. Just had a little stuck piece of lint, I guess. And that lint would have got trapped under the paint, and that would have been annoying. Okay, so we're looking good on the right side here. Let's hit the left. So we're using this. It's by Sim. This product. I must have spilled paint on near it or on it, and I wiped it off. But it's plastic and leather prep by Sim. So I had a couple of other projects in the past couple of weeks that I've wanted to stream, but for the most part, I wanted to control, the time that I spent on those things and just get them out of the way. I wouldn't say that this is a different kind of project. I want to finish this and get this out of the way so I can move on to the next thing. But this has to be done right, and it's something that I believe there are plenty of young artists that may want to try this themselves. They may not have the same equipment, but hopefully they can mimic the process. Like I said, I'm just using a Iwata HPC airbrush, but you can use something that you may purchase from perhaps Harbor Freight or somewhere on eBay, and you can get airbrushes pretty inexpensive now. Airbrushing is for hobbyists as well. You don't have to be a professional to use the airbrush. You just have to have the initiative and incentive to try it. Like I said, I want to make sure all of that tape is down. Sometimes you may want to heat it up. And that'll give it a little bit more stickiness. And like I said, I'm going to use the card in that area as well. So first pass, I'm trying my best not to oversaturate the leather. I just want to get the paint on there. Because the dryer that you put the first coat on, it's called like a tack coat. It's only meant to allow the paint to attach itself to the surface and build this bond between the paint and the subsequent layers of paint that you put on there. So as you can see, it does have a nice To me, it has a very nice color. I think on screen it's very vibrant. Almost looks electric, but in real life it's very baby bluish. Okay. And the one thing that I always forget is that you know, the airbrush, you don't have to use that much paint. I possibly overmixed paint, but that was to be certain that I was not going to run out of the same color that I just produced. And that's just a tip for you as well, to be certain to sometimes you want to have extra. Be certain that you're mistakes can happen. I can spill this whole, you know, I can spill the whole container or whatever. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm also trying to remember that the camera is there, and I have to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. Okay. This is a tough spot right here. I can see that the tape is lifting because it's not a very good area. So we're going to angle this card and hopefully deflect any kind of paint that may go over there. Same with the other side. It's not an easy spot for the tape to stick. Another way to kind of prevent that from happening, or prevent paint, is also to spray in the direction away from where the opening is at, you know, and that will definitely keep the paint from getting into that little crevice. So now cover it a little more. Also, when you spray it very lightly, it dries a lot quicker. It allows you to go back over the paint once again and make that color more opaque. Okay, so the right shoe looks pretty good. I have all the areas covered that we need covered. Let's see, we might need a little bit more in this area. Okay, that one is complete. I mean, not complete, but phase part one of spraying is done on that. I'm going to add some more paint here. Make sure you shake it, twist it up, whatever. And I should find my caps. Let me find an airbrush top. Kind of forgot about these. I don't really use top feed that often. Primarily use siphon feed brushes. Okay, so we'll place that cap on there. So if I move the brush at an awkward angle, I'm not going to get any spillage. Okay. So when I spray, I like to go in one direction, then come back. Okay, so this is a bad area right here where the tape is kind of lifting, because I have to move this tongue piece, or you know, the tongue strap. So we're going to use the card in there and really physically keep the paint away. Oh, there's another layer that's flapping around here I don't like. Let's burnish that down. Oh. Hope you didn't come up at all. Okay, we got a good amount of paint in there. Okay, keep that tape down. Also, be certain that when you spray on one angle, to make sure that you kind of flip the sneaker upside down and look at it from a different vantage point, a different angle, you may have missed a spot. Sometimes the paint will not cover every place that you think you got it. So this part is getting tricky right here. I don't want anything coming. There we go. Have to press that down a good amount. May have a little bit of the fabric was showing there. Oh, didn't mean to bump the camera there. So what I'm going to do after I have completely covered the sneakers, with a fully saturated baby blue, I will let them dry for a couple of hours, and then I will come back and spray the protectant on top. So we're going to go back to the second shoe here, the first shoe, and now we're going to make passes that completely, cover this with paint. We're going to bring the saturation up to the highest point. Still be aware that you don't want to over saturate when the paint starts to look too shiny. That's when you have the possibility for runs and the paint not drying correctly. So later I have to go and get a new heat gun because my heat gun died on me over the weekend. And I was pretty surprised. It wasn't brand new, but I didn't believe that I used it that often. And almost rather purchase the no-name brand or the one that I get from Harbor Freight, because those are so durable. That airbrushing with the right hand. Yeah, because the color usually dries a lot darker than you would expect. So I made certain that with this I did a very light mixture. It is primarily white with blue added in. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Looks pretty good to my eyes. I'm not certain. Let's see. Right here up at the top. Okay, looks good. Yeah, I think maybe I have to readjust these colors. Could be the camera. But in certain areas, it does not look baby blue. It looks like a very intense turquoise, I guess, on screen. I see baby blue. Okay, I see right here I have a little problem. I have to lift the tape and clean that up. Hopefully I'm not getting any underneath the tape. You have to watch out for anything that bumps up against your fresh paint, because you can smear it, and that's not easy to hide. little piece with a tape kind of covered up the leather. Very small, but after I pulled off the tape, then you would have really noticed it. Baby blue is so, it's not obvious next to this white when some of the areas need to be colored. And the more that it's saturated, the more that it starts to stand out, the white. I'll probably do one more pass. So that has, a good amount of paint on there. Okay, this feels pretty strong. This feels pretty good. Alright, wait. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I know that took quite a long time just to get to this step. But yeah, I see a couple of different issues right there. What I mean by turning it different ways, because sometimes you will not see the problem in a specific light. Okay, it looks pretty good now. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, I think we're done. Okay, gonna let those dry. I think I used 10% of that paint. Plenty of baby blue for any other projects. So here is the final rendition before we put on the clear coat. And the clear I more than likely will put on the whole sneaker once I take all the tape off and make sure all of the paint looks the way it should. The clear will come after all of that, because that way I get when I first prepped the sneaker, I tried to only deglaze the areas that I was going to paint, but you know, some of that had to get on some of these other areas. So it's best to actually have a continuous, you know, clear coat around the whole sneaker. I think that would give it a bit more protection on every surface. Alright, so there it is. Please reach out if you watch the video. You need any Air Force Ones or any other sneakers painted, just DM me, or you can email at am.studios@gmail. Get in touch with me. Still some time to do some holiday gifts. I have plenty of t-shirts and hats here at the shop at home, and I could produce those for you lickety split if I have the free time. I primarily have a couple of more show dates and event dates for this month, but I will be doing some in-house artwork, and when we wrap up this year, we are starting to make a transition back into digital artwork. So you will see that I have been creating some 3D and some digital painting assets and things that you know, are going to be the first steps in I guess going in a different direction. We'll see what happens the coming year, but as it is, I will still take on projects like these. I enjoy doing art that's challenging, so that's why I'm probably going to step it up and make a change into 3D and see where that road takes me. But as I mentioned, I will always be an airbrush artist, and will always do stuff like this as well. So hit me up before the holidays are gone. Hit me up after the holidays, whenever. You got a project, I'll take it on. Alright, so I hope the audience or anybody that watches enjoyed these the airbrushing of these baby blue Air Force Ones. Alright, we will take off the tape and reveal that possibly in the edited video, but I'm going to just sign off for right now and move on to the next project. Perhaps I will stream it, perhaps I won't. But thank you for the one person that joined, or that I could see that was there in the room. Hello to you. And yeah, like I said, we'll be back. Got some basketballs and all kinds of other goodies to get rid of. Alright, enjoy the day.